Hello everyone, I'm going to show you today how to do an oil change on a BMW E90 3 Series. This is a 330i, so it's going to be the same thing on a 325i, 328i, and same for the 1 Series with the same engines. So basically what you'll need are some engine oil. I'm using 5W40, you can use 5W30 as well, and a few other grades, but these are the most common, so I'm using this one. This is a 20 litre container, but you don't need that much. You'll need 6.5 litres. You'll need also a new oil filter. Always change that at the same time as the oil. An oil filter key, so there are different models. I'm using this one. This is a universal claw key. It's pretty handy. You'll need also a tub to collect the oil. A funnel can be handy as well, and I'll give you the dimensions for the sump plug as soon as we get underneath. So I'm underneath the car now. Since it's a low car, of course it's much better if you can have access underneath like I do, but you should manage to get to the sump plug by raising the front of the car and lowering it when the oil will start to drain. So first thing, we have this little trap here with a flathead screwdriver. To do half a turn, it opens up. You can take it off like so, and then we have access to our sump plug, which you can probably not see because it's so dark, so I'm gonna get a light. Alright, that's a little bit better. So it's a 17mm screw sump plug, so you'll need a socket of that size, 17mm. The access is really easy as soon as you've taken off that little trap. Yep. Before I drained the oil, I made the engine run, went for a little spin, just a few minutes to get the oil warm. You don't want it to be too hot to not burn yourself, but the hotter it will be, the more fluid it will be, and the easier it will drain out. So get it warm and then you can start. Alright, so I'm ready to drain the oil. Sorry if it's a bit dark, but there's nothing really much to see. I'm just going to undo the sump plug. Alright, like so. That was easy. And I'm going to unscrew it by hand. And yeah, so I don't have a lot of room. Try and keep my tub underneath and try not to drop the plug in there, which happens quite often to me. And that's why you don't want your oil to be too hot, because you will get a little bit of it on your hands. Alright, so now it's flowing out right here. Just now let it drain all of it out, and we're going to go under the hood to take care of the rest. Now we can open the filler cap. If it was hard to open, it's because this cover sometimes goes up a little bit and blocks the filler cap. Here we go, it's just the turn, it stays on. I'm not going to leave it open, I'm just going to open it and leave it like that, so it can suck in air but nothing can get in. Our oil filter will be in here, so here, this is why I'm going to use this key to open it up. There are, of course, specific keys, like they get on like that with exactly the same number of little sides, and that's the best thing to have. But if you take care of a few cars, a universal key is probably more practical. Get something next to it, because it's going to be really full of oil, so you can just put it there and not mess up the whole place. And take also your ratchet, if you have this type of key, so you can just put it on like that to undo the cover. Yeah, even managing with one hand, so you should be fine with two. And usually once you've done the first quarter of a turn, you can keep going by hand. It's actually a little bit hard because there's a torque joint, I remember now, down here. And since it's not a cartridge filter, as you can often see on cars, you have to use the key until the joint is free. So this is not the best type of key for this job because you do damage a bit the cover, but it's an all-rounder, so yeah, you can't have everything if you're on a small budget. Otherwise you can just get any of these sizes. And can you hear? Now the air is coming in, it's sucking down the oil, so be careful when you take it off, not to take it off too quickly and get oil everywhere. Here it is, so the filter's in the cap. With this new one, there are of course the new seals, the new torque joint and a smaller one, and there also is a small copper washer for the sump blank, I think it is, so that's pretty good. Now I'm just take it out like so. So this is one of the torque joints we'll have to change. If you can't get it off by hand, use a small screwdriver. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to replace it straight away. It's a bit stiffer than the old one, but that's normal. Here we go. The other one is here. Put some oil on it to make sure it doesn't get damaged when you screw it back on later on. Here we go, so that's done. I'm gonna wipe off as much old oil as I can in here before I put the new one. And before I put the new filter in, I'm gonna try and take off as much oil as I can here. Now the good thing about this setup is that it's really easy access to the oil filter. The bad thing is that we have oil left. So it's not a big deal if you mix it up with the new one, but I prefer to take it out. So I'm just using a big syringe and I'm going to suck out all this. If you didn't have a syringe, you can also use some old cloth and just soak it up. This is probably the easiest way, putting it out in an old container. So now it's pretty clean. Soaked the rest up with a cloth. I don't know if there's a way to really drain out all of this. Maybe if you can use a little hose and bring it down with your syringe and take out as much as you can, but it will be good enough. I'm not even sure if you go to BMW if they do that, so it'll be fine for me. And also I do the oil service every 15,000 kilometers maximum, and not 20,000 as it says on my board computer. So now for the new filter, you just pop it back on like that. There is no specific side. Make sure, as I said before, that you have some oil all over this filter, this torque joint. Same thing for the little one. And now you can just put it back in. Now screw it on by hand as much as you can. And when it gets hard, you can use your key again, because the torque joint has to go in position, and that's what makes it a little bit hard. So just go on about that, and you can't get it wrong. This gap has to be completely closed, so the plastic against the metal, and that's the right position for your oil filter cap. Here we go. As soon as it doesn't go any further, don't push it more. It will be fine since there is the joint. Wipe off anything that was dripped next to it. And now we're gonna put the sump plug back on with its new washer. So for the sump plug, wipe it nice and clean. You can replace it, the whole thing, but this one's fine, so make sure it's really nice and clean. That has nothing on this part, so that the washer will be really against it. And now we can just screw it on by hand. We'll go over there. So it's still dripping a little bit, but as I'm going to close it up, can't wait any longer. You can just wait until it fully drips out. There's nothing left, but that will be enough for me. So pushing the tub back, wiping it. Also the oil pan where the plug is going to be, to make sure there's nothing onto it, and then just screw it on by hand, and always screw it on by hand first, because if you don't do that, if you do it with the key, you can get it sideways and ruin the plug or the oil pan, and that will be really not good. Once it's fully screwed on, you can tighten it again with your key. Make sure it's nice and tight, but really don't overdo it. Alright. And anyway, once we've turned on the engine, we'll check, make sure that there are no leaks. So now we can proceed to the filling. Alright, so now I'm going to fill the new oil. I'm going to use a funnel since I have a pretty big oil container. So I made 2 marks. My oil level is here. I need 6.5 liters, so I'm going to check until I get to the second mark. It's always better to put a little less and then complete in the next few days, rather than put too much and have to drain it out. So I'm going to take it easy and stop at 6, and then just slowly put some more in. Nothing complicated about this, especially if you have a smaller oil bottle. Here goes for 6.5 liters. Filling is done. I can close this up like that. And since there's no dipstick, what I did is put 6 liters, and then I'm gonna make the engine run. And in the next few days, I'll check with on the board computer to see how the oil level is, and I'll complete, if necessary, with some oil I have in the car. So I suggest you do the same, unless you know you have exactly 6.5 liters already prepared, and then put that volume in. Alright, so now I'll turn the engine on, and we'll wait till the oil goes all the way around, fills up the oil filter. Wait a few minutes, and then we'll check underneath the car to see if nothing's leaking where the sump plug is. Same with the oil filter, but there shouldn't be any reason for that, but it's just to make sure. No leaks, so now we're good to close this little trap. so now that the engine is running, what we're going to do to reset the oil service indicator is you're going to press the reset button for the kilometers. Here we go. Turn off the engine. So you do that engine running. Now turn it off. Completely. And I'm gonna put the key back in. Press until you have all the lights coming up. Now press the reset button again until a yellow triangle appears. Stay on it. Now you can release. You're gonna use this to navigate in this menu and choose the thing you want to reset. Since I've just done the oil change, this is what I'm going to do. Press OK. It asks for a reset. Press again. Stay on it until that little clock turns. And when it's done, release it. It says 25,000 kilometers. I surely won't wait that long to do it. I'll do it in 15,000, as I did for this oil service. And then you can just yeah, it just exits by itself. So that was how to reset the different services if you need to. Alright, so what can I tell you? Collect the old oil and bring it somewhere where it can be treated, recycled. As you can see, it was pretty easy to do. Anyone can do that basically. The hardest thing is to get underneath the car, but apart from that, the rest is really simple, even if it's a fairly recent car, and if it's this is a 2006 model, and if it seems premium, you can really do a lot of things on it yourself. So yeah, get your hands dirty and you'll make a nice saving. Alright, I'll see you next time in another video, and if you have questions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments underneath the video. Alright, cheers.